Picture this. It's a hot summer day, you're 9 years old, and just finished a serious bouncing session at your friend Kevin's birthday party. Fresh out of the inflatable palace, your quest begins to find a refreshment to rehydrate and take another crack at the highest jump record. You approach the table that Kevin's mom put out earlier that day, grab one of these bad boys, and fill it with bright red, room temperature Koolaid from a plastic jug that has been soaking there in the sun all day. After refilling yourself with food coloring and a healthy dose of microplastics, you toss your cup in the waste bin and return to bouncing, completely unaware of the significance and nostalgia this simple pattern would hold for you one day. While some designs become famous due to significant aesthetic merit, innovation, or something of the sort, this simple crayon-like mark became iconic to an entire generation through ubiquity and mass production. It's difficult to put a finger on why it became one of the best-selling cups in history, but it's likely due to the fact that it didn't directly appeal to anyone. You might see that as a bad thing, but a cup that feels right at home at a girl or boy's birthday party, a summer barbecue, or even by the office water cooler has a massive market potential. This is what ultimately landed this cup a spot in the heart of an entire generation's childhood memories. So, where did this design come from? How did it end up on a cup to begin with? And why has this simple series of marks become so shrouded in controversy? Let's jump into it. The year was 1992, and the Sweetheart Cup Company had just received another round of lackluster designs from the agency they had contracted to stylize their cups. Each one was either not what they were looking for or far too complex for their simple, cost-effective printing process. In the midst of the frustration, one of the executives had a brilliant idea. They would hold an internal contest to help design the next cup they would produce. This way, they would have people familiar with the printing process designing for them, and they could avoid paying any royalties to the designer as they were already salaried through the company, and therefore had no rights to anything they created on company time. Genius. After some discussion back and forth about the series of employee submissions, one cup stood far above the rest in its ability to appeal to the masses. This design was also advantageous in terms of the printing process. Since it was a relatively organic design, it didn't matter too much if one of the color prints was off one way a bit or the other. No matter the situation or how sloppy the printer was, this design still held up relatively well. It was on this historic day that the Jazz Cup was born and its legacy would begin. The design would begin to be sold on cups, but after seeing the success, they quickly began to print the marks on other paper products. From plates to bowls and beyond, this design was everywhere and becoming next to impossible to be unfamiliar with. By 2002, the Jazz design was the most popular out of any design sold by the Sweetheart Company. It was hard to exist in this period and not run into the design on a nearly daily basis. It was plastered on just about every paper disposable available and could be found in nearly any setting that called for such goods. Do you remember using this cup in your lifetime? If so, what was your fondest, most nostalgic memory of it? I would love to hear about your experience with this cup in the comments below. The Jazz Cup perfectly represented the 90s Maximalist aesthetic, while remaining neutral enough to be enjoyed by the masses. While the direct inspiration for this design is relatively unknown, it certainly took notice of the general aesthetic of the era. With cartoons like Rocket Power and Rugrats embracing a title sequence full of bright neon colors, wacky patterns, and contrasting textures, this cup felt right at home. It was certainly possible to be sipping out of a cup yourself and at the same time see one being used in your favorite 90s sitcom. As with anything valuable, this design has stirred up its fair share of controversy in regards to its true designer amongst the internet community. Although Gina Eckes, a former employee of the Sweetheart Company, was originally credited with the design, a Reddit forum brought another designer to the surface, claiming the original IP to be hers. Designer Stephanie Miller claimed that the original marks were her own, made during her time at Sweetheart Company competitor Imperial Bondware. She claimed that the design was stolen by Eckes, or at the very least, she had taken very strong inspiration from her work, potentially even tracing or remaking it. Well, both designers presented evidence to their claims. Gina, an original charcoal sketch from her days in college, and Stephanie, an old teal paintbrush. There is currently no conclusive evidence. Even after the Solo Cup company who purchased the Sweetheart company dug through their archives, no affirmative evidence was found to solidify either party's claim. That said, as most of design was done by hand during that era, it's completely possible some piece of crucial evidence was misplaced or thrown out entirely. Company representative Casey Scala had the following to say about the situation. "We searched high and low, but unfortunately we came up empty. With Dart's acquisition of Sweetheart and Solo Cup, most of the historical information has been lost as those involved in the project are no longer with the company. As of now, our best assumption is that Gina was the original creator. However, we are not able to confirm." Both designers hold strong to their claim of the design to this day, and the world may never know the full truth of the design's origins. Something about that fact just makes the story of this cup all that more exciting and interesting to me. It's just a mystery that, we may never solve. Many designers can only dream of having a design become this successful and this ubiquitously known. To create something that holds a point of memory for generations is truly incredible. The most insane part about this story is that the designer received zero royalties from this design. Whether that be Gina or Stephanie, both claim to have never received any real compensation for this outside of their base salaries. It's crazy that even after creating one of the most iconic works of an entire generation, you can go almost completely unrecognized. Even to this day, the design continues to be bootlegged and attached to countless Etsy items, meme pages, and the like. According to Know Your Meme, the image has been used in over 100,000 memes and counting. The design even had a Facebook page created for it, which amassed over 4,000 followers and is home to a dedicated community of jazz cup lovers. Who knew a simple cup design could come to hold so much significance and nostalgia in the lives of so many? This is truly the power of design being shown in full force. As designers, we shift culture daily through our decisions and actions. Even something as small as a paper cup design can leave a massive impact on the world. It's really a pretty neat field to be a part of exactly for reasons like this. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. A little bit of history on the Jazz Cup and some background on the controversy that the design has caused, and maybe why it became such an iconic design of the 90s and why it really holds such a fond place in many of people from that era's heart. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it, I'm trying to do more design documentary style things on this channel rather than just the tutorials that I've historically done. So hang around and subscribe if you're interested in things like that. And if you found this video interesting in any way, it would be super helpful if you'd leave a like on it. And other than that, I appreciate you guys watching and hanging around to this point, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.